Ruby has been a member of this church for 3 years, thanks for that, and has kind of done all kinds of things for us in the life of the church, predominantly around being different people in the nativity story, whether it be Mary, that was a high point of your acting career, I'm sure, but she's an incredible communicator and super diligent in preparation, and so I've asked her to speak a bit more practically around communication. She graduated from LIPA, doing playwriting and directing, and she's done one-woman shows on the Edinburgh Fringe, and is an amazing person. So can we give it up for Ruby Shrimpton?
Thank you. Hello. So yeah, I'm Ruby. I am an actor, a writer, and a director. I sometimes call myself a theatre maker, which is essentially doing all three of those things at the same time, which is a lot of work, but it is really fun. And so I did my degree at Newcastle College doing acting. I spent a couple of years working around the Northeast doing all sorts of bits. I then, like Alex said, I came to Liverpool to do my master's at LIPA, and I've then spent the past couple of years touring my own show around the UK, which is what this picture is from, and doing schools tours, and then also working as an assistant director. And another thing that I should tell you is that I am an introvert, and I'm quite a shy person, and I am very quiet a lot of the time, and I get very nervous when it comes to social situations. So if, when you were thinking about your hurdles that you might have to be a leader, if one of yours was maybe you don't feel like you have the confidence, that shouldn't be a hurdle for you. It's all about practice, to be able to get you on stage and to talk. If that's what you want to do, you can absolutely do it. Right, so acting is a little bit different to preaching and to public speaking. However, over the years, I have built myself what I like to think of as being my toolkit of exercises and way for me to prepare to get myself to talk from a stage and to communicate with people. And so I am going to go through that toolkit with you guys today, and hopefully you might find some stuff that you can take out and make your own little toolkit with. We got that? Brilliant, cool. So I'm going to split it into 4 sections, which is going to be mind, body, breath, and voice. And we're going to go through those one at a time, but just know that all 4 of these are connected. So, for example, if you are nervous about going on stage, if you're full of adrenaline, which is totally normal, that is going to affect your mind, it's going to affect your focus, but it's also going to affect your body and the way that you hold yourself. It might affect your breath. You might stop breathing faster. It might affect your voice in that your throat might tighten up and your voice might come out a little bit strained. And so all 4 of these are connected. Brilliant. So we are going to start at the beginning. Brilliant. Mind. I'm going to go through these 3 points with the mind and how you can prepare. So obviously, when you go on stage, you want to feel focused, and you want to feel really confident, and you want to feel like you can really concentrate on what you are saying. So how do we get there? Number 1, do your homework. This is going to feel like a really obvious point, but it's really, really important. And it's essentially what we've already been talking about today, what the other people have been talking about. So for an actor, doing your homework is learning your lines. It is the blocking. It's where you are standing on stage. It is what wings you are coming in and out of. It's your character's motivations. It might also be that your character is an expert in a certain subject, so you're going to research that subject. It might be the time period that that's taking place. You might want to do research into the politics that are going on. For you guys, that might mean just doing lots and lots of research into what you are talking about. That means reading the Bible, that means praying about it, that means doing research into the context. So those things, again, have already been talked about. And not only is doing your homework going to improve the quality of what you are talking about, it is also going to massively improve your confidence. If you can walk onto a stage knowing that you know what you are talking about, then that is going to remove a bit of that worry and leave it at the door. Brilliant. I know I'm talking really fast. I'm sorry. Okay, second one. Be passionate. Passion is a really, really important tool for you. If everything else goes out the window, if you lose all of your technique, but you're still passionate, then that is going to come across to your audience. It is such an incredibly important tool to have. However, that might not always be there. And that's something that we kind of need to be able to get a grip with. So, for example, you might have been given a subject to talk about that actually you're not really that interested in, which we don't like to admit, but it can happen sometimes. Or it might be that you are doing a talk that you've done over and over and over and over again, and you're just getting a bit tired of it. Or it could be that you've had a bad week, you just haven't had enough sleep, you've got all these other problems that are going on in your life, and you just cannot, sum up the passion to be able to do your talk. That can happen. So what do we do about that? Well, the number one go-to for Christians is to pray about it, and that is the right answer. But also, my abstract, arty piece of advice would be to enter into what you're talking about with openness and with curiosity. That way, every time you start your talk, if you say to yourself, I'm going to find something new in this every single time, I'm going to really sort of lean into this, then that is going to bring up that passion. And point number 3, if it all goes wrong, it is not the end of the world. That is a piece of advice that I have kept with me in my back pocket, and it's helped me through so many different situations. So, when I was 20, I had to understudy a lead role in a big Christmas show, and I was absolutely terrified. I had done my homework in that I had learnt the lines. I was passionate about it because I really enjoyed this show, but I still thought, what if everything goes wrong? What if I crash and burn? What if I forget everything? I'm going to ruin it for the rest of the cast, I'm going to ruin it for all the technicians, and I'm going to ruin all of these audience members. I'm going to ruin their Christmas. And it was really, really terrifying. And I was also full of all this adrenaline too. And before going on, the director came up to me and he said, Ruby, if it all goes wrong, it doesn't matter. And in my adrenaline-filled state, I realized that actually he might be right. And just that thought alone helped me to take a bit of that worry away and leave it at the door. So let's say that we've done all 3 of these things, we've done our homework, we're passionate about our subject choice, and we also know that if it goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. What do we do next? Okay, body. I'm sure you all know how important body language is. I probably don't have to say that to you. You don't have to have studied acting for 4 years to be able to read it as well. We can all read body language. However, when you are on stage, you're probably just focused on what you are saying. So you're going to forget about what the rest of this is doing. In fact, it might do things out of your control. You might have twitchy fingers. I know I do that sometimes. You might have kind of wringing hands. You might close off a little bit. You might be a bit inwards. You might have tension in your neck and in your shoulders, so you're turtling a little bit. I see quite often with young actors is that they push all of their energy into their feet, and so they do this kind of shuffly thing whilst they're on stage, and they don't realize that they're doing it. Now, like I said, if it all goes wrong, it doesn't matter. So if you are doing a little bit of that, I don't mean to make you really self-conscious about it. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to make you all stand like dolls on the stage to give out your talks. That's not it at all. But there are things that we can do to try to remove some of that. So this is the practical bit of my speech. I am going to lead you guys through a really simple, really easy actor's warm-up. It's not scary, I promise, that we can do to try to own our bodies a little bit more. So before we do this, I'm just going to tell you all, only do what you are capable of doing. If you have an injury somewhere, don't do it. If it's going to hurt, don't do it. I promise it's not going to be scary. It's not going to be embarrassing. It'll be absolutely fine. So I'm going to ask everybody to stand up. You can step away from your chair a little bit so you're not going to kick it. And you're just going to start by shaking. Shake your legs, shake your arms, shake your body, wake yourself up. Brilliant. Yeah, it feels silly, but we're all doing it, so we all look silly together. Fantastic. And we are going to get into a position called actor's neutral. So you're going to stand with both of your feet in parallel, a hips width apart. You're going to make sure that your knees are not locked, so they're not completely bent, but they're not also really, really tight and locked. You're going to have your hands by your sides. Make sure that your shoulders are relaxed. And then you are going to imagine that you've got a piece of string coming out of the top of your head, and it's going through your spine and through your neck and pulling you up. So you're not super strained, so you're not hurting in any way, but you're just standing lovely and tall. And then you are going to imagine that you have roots coming out of your feet, and they're going into the ground, they're going into the concrete, so you are nicely grounded. Brilliant. And here's the weird arty bit. I'd like you all to close your eyes, and you are going to scan through your body. So you're going to put your awareness into different parts of your body, so parts that you might not think about usually. So you might think about the top of your scalp, or your eyelids, or the tip of your nose, or your chin, or between your shoulder blades, or your knuckles, or under your fingernails, or the backs of your knees, or the tops of your feet. And if while you're doing this scan, you find any parts of you that are holding tension, just try to let that go. Brilliant. And open your eyes. Fab. And now we're just going to do some shoulder rolls. Just some lovely shoulder rolls. And then you're going to raise both hands. I can only do one because I've got a microphone, but do both. And you're going to stretch. And then you're going to release your wrists. And then your elbows. And then your shoulders. Brilliant. And then you're just going to roll your neck. You're going to lean your neck to one side. Put an arm over it. You're not pushing, you're just leaving it there as a bit of dead weight. So you're stretching your neck. And the other side, over. Stretch the neck. And then you're going to do some slow motion hula hooping. So around in a circle. So you're stretching out your hips and your legs. And then you're just going to roll an ankle. And then a knee, if you can balance. If not, don't worry about it. And then another ankle. And then a knee. And then you're going to shake it out again. Brilliant, sit down. Well done, that was great. So what do? We found good posture. We found awareness in our bodies, and we removed tension. So hopefully after doing that, you should be feeling a little bit more awake in your bodies and like you're ready to go. So if once you are doing a talk, you realize that actually you are holding a little bit of tension in your shoulders, you can just remind yourself just to let it go. Or maybe you realize that you're doing a lot of foot shuffling. You can just tell yourself to ground yourself. Brilliant, very good. And next one, breath. We don't normally think about breath. It's something that we do automatically, but it is important. Breathing is going to help you with your pacing. If you are feeling a bit nervous and full of anxiety, then controlling your breathing is also going to calm you down as well. And also, it is going to help your vocal capacity. The more breath and more breath control you have, the more you are going to be able to do your sentences without having to take a big breath in between, as can happen when you are nervous. So, we're going to do this next bit sitting down. I'm not going to make you all stand up again. So just make sure that as you're sat down, you are sat down with sort of straight backs, so you're not leaning against anything. And we are just going to wake up our systems. So you're going to start by just tapping around your ribs. On the top and the bottom. So it's like you're waking up your intercostal muscles. Yep, it's a bit like Tarzan. If you want, then you can use your knuckles as well, so you're not hurting yourself, you're not hitting yourself, you're just waking it up. And the back as well, because your ribs go around to the back too. So you're waking yourself up. And then you're going to stretch over to one side, and then do the other one. I've got a microphone, so I look really weird, but you probably aren't. And then the other side. Brilliant. And so if our ribs and our lungs are like the bellows of our system, then our neck is like the chimney. So you're just going to gently massage around your neck. And it should actually feel really nice. There we go. And then try doing a little bit around your jaw as well. That's really important too. Brilliant. So we've woken up our system. We know that our ribs are getting ready to work for us. And then, in your own time, I would just like you to try breathing in through your nose and then going out through your mouth, just really gently in your own time. Let's do it a few times. Brilliant. So you're just building that awareness of the breath that you have, and you are taking control. And then we're going to do a really quick little breathing exercise where you are going to breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. I'll count us through it. You're going to hold for 4, and then you're going to let it out for 4. Ready? So in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Again, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. So now you may be able to feel a little difference in your breathing. You might be more aware of it. You might have more control of it. That is a great way to get control of our breathing. And last one is going to be voice. If we can have the next slide. Brilliant, thank you. So, voice. I could go on and on and on about voice and how important it is and all the different techniques and exercises that you can do. But I'm just going to go through 3 with you. So, vocal range is really important. You might notice when you are talking and when you're having an animated conversation with somebody that you're really using your voice. And so you might say that something is brilliant, and so you're using your voice to go right the way up. You might say that something is really bad, and you're going right the way down in your voice. And what you want to be able to do when you're on a stage is to give yourself access to that range. Sometimes when we're on stage, we think that we need to talk with gravitas. We need to talk really seriously. So we might try and say everything in one sort of monotone place. But if you do that, then people switch off because there isn't really much that's capturing their attention. So what we can do is we can wake up our vocal range. So we're just going to do a bit of really simple humming. So we are just going to start high with our hum, and then we're going to go down to doing low, and we'll all do it together. Doesn't matter if you don't sound very good. We're not singing. Don't worry. Okay? So we're going to start on a hum, and then go down to a hum, and it should feel nice. Okay? Lovely. And then we're going to go low to high. Brilliant. That is a really easy way just to wake up your vocal cords so they are ready to work for you. Fantastic. Diction. Diction is really important. If you want people to be able to hear you and understand what you are saying, you need good diction. Now, diction isn't an accent thing. You can have any accent in the world, but as long as you have good diction, people are going to be able to understand what you are saying. So that means having clarity. That means really saying your consonants. So to do that, we are again going to do another little warm-up. So we're going to start by just massaging the face. So you're waking up the muscles, because diction is going to use all of those face muscles. So make sure you do the jaw, even the nose, because the nose is really good for nasal sounds, and the cheeks, and the temples, and the forehead. Fantastic. And then you're going to imagine that you have a big piece of really nice toffee in your mouth, and you are chewing it. Brilliant. And it's really nice toffee, but it has got stuck to the roof of your mouth. So you need to use your tongue to get to the top of your mouth and get it all off. And it's really sticky. It's really nice, but it's really, really sticky. And it's also got into your teeth. So you need to work your tongue into all of your teeth, especially the back ones. It's right in there. And you're going to run your tongue along all of your teeth. So you're really waking up all those mouth muscles. Fantastic. So now your face will be feeling really stretched. It looks silly, I know. Fab. And then we're just going to do a really simple tongue twister. So repeat after me. Unique, New York. New York, unique. Unique, New York, New York, unique. Brilliant. Let's do it again, but this time you're going to really overpronounce it. So you're going to move your face loads. Unique, New York. Unique, New York. New York, unique. Brilliant. And I'll teach you another one too. This is my favorite. So repeat after me. B. D. G. Budiga. Budiga. Goodaba. Goodaba. Budiga goodaba. Goodaba budiga. Okay, I'll give you a hint. So, Each noise is in a different place in your mouth. So the B is happening at the front in your lips, the D is in the middle, and then the G is at the back. So you should be able to feel it moving from front to back and from back to front. Let's try it again. B, D, G, budiga, goodaba, budiga, goodaba, goodaba, budiga. Nice one. After a while, you can get quite fast with it, and you can go. I won't make you do that, but that's how far it can go. Brilliant. So that is going to really help us with our diction. Yeah, thank you very much. We are now going to apply it to a phrase. So the phrase we are going to say is, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. And as we say it, we're going to really pronounce those consonants. And it's going to move the face quite a lot, and it's going to sound really weird. And I'm not saying that when you're on a stage, this is how you should talk, but it's a good way to warm up your voice and your mouth and your tongue so that you can get on stage. So I'll say a bit first, and you repeat after me, and you're going to really move that face. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Brilliant, let's try it again, but through the whole thing. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Fantastic. Are your faces feeling all weird and numb now? Good, that's what it's supposed to be. Fab, so we've got that vocal range, we've got that diction. Projection is our final one. Now, you might not need projection because you might be on a stage with a microphone, but that doesn't always happen. You might be on a stage without a microphone, in which case you really need to be talking nice and loudly so that you are hitting the back of the room. Now, this isn't shouting, it's just talking nice and loudly. And I am using all of that support that I have from that body exercise and the warm-ups, and also all of the lung capacity and the breathing exercises. I'm making sure that my diction is nice and there, and I'm also using my vocal range. So all of it is coming together to be able to project. So we're going to stand up for one more time. Stand up. I would like you to face somewhere in the room, any direction. You are going to find a point somewhere in the building, not too high because you don't want to have your neck strained. And you are going to try to send all of your energy in that direction. And we're going to say our phrase again, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. And I would like you to have that position. So you're going to have your legs in parallel, not too bent, arms by your side. Make sure that your shoulders are relaxed. You're aware of your breathing. You've got that lovely, nice breathing capacity. And all together, all as one, I'll count us down. We are going to send that phrase, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, towards that corner we've picked out. 3, 2, 1. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Brilliant. Turn around, find another place in the room. And we're going to send it again. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Brilliant. Give yourself a round of applause. Well done. So I have just thrown a lot of information at you. I don't mind if you don't remember all of it. I don't even mind if you think some of it was really weird and silly and actually didn't work for you. That's okay. But that is my toolkit that I use to get me ready to be on stage. And so there may be some things out of that you can take into your own toolkit. I'm not saying you have to do a full warm-up like that every single time. But if you're about to go and you're about to talk somewhere, then maybe just before you leave the house, maybe you have 5 minutes in the car when you can quickly roll your shoulders. If in that scanning thing you found a bit of tension somewhere in your body that you didn't know you had, then just being aware of that can really help. And maybe you can find a tongue twister, maybe one I've taught you, maybe a new one, just to get that mouth warmed up so you are ready to be on stage and you can develop that stage presence to be able to talk with people. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Let's give it up for Ruby. Stay there. I'm going to put you on the spot a bit, Ruby.
Okay.
You've obviously sat, I'm pointing to where Andy is, but that's often where you sit.
In the corner.
In the corner. And you've heard me preach a few times.
Yes.
What are some things that you think that I need to work on in terms of my delivery or practically when I preach? What are some...
Oh, that's a really tough question.
No, seriously, I want to learn.
Something that I tend to see that happens with a lot of preachers is actually standing behind a lectern
Yeah.
Because even though, yes, you have your notes on there, so it's there for a practical reason, it is actually kind of cutting you off visually from people.
Great.
So just every now and then, being able to just step out to the side and being able to be seen really helps.
Yes.
Quite often, if you're kind of blocking a scene with some actors, you never have them stand behind furniture because it cuts them off. And so whilst it is there for very clearly a practical reason, sometimes just stepping out will mean that people will pay more attention to you.
That's great. Can we give it up for Ruby? So good. Thank you, mate.